Hello, and welcome again to Watch My Pipe. My name's Kurt. Thanks for tuning in. So, today is the second episode of the Wednesday Watch Review. It's been a long time coming. Hopefully, you caught the first episode where I went through my watch collection. And speaking of, I am wearing my Rolex GMT Pepsi today. But in some of the new watches that have been released over the past few weeks and months here, I wanted to take some time and go back and review some of the new releases that have come out. Now, there have been so many new watches that have come out. A lot of it probably was from the pent up demand and a lot of expectations over the last year after Basel was canceled. But a lot of those manufacturers have figured out some new ways to get things moving here. And in the last few weeks, there's been quite a few. And I don't want to take too much time today going through all of them because, again, in doing some of this research, if I took time to hit every single watch, every single one that's come out, I'd be sitting here for an hour. So what I did is I took a look at everything that came out. And trust me, there was a lot of them. So, I mean, you have Patek with the green dial. You have Panerai with some interesting new, I guess you could call it, what did they call it? They called it, they reused some of the patina and luminous paint in some of the watches. They reused sapphire. I mean, I'm going to have to dig a little bit more into that, but what I did is I took everybody from Rolex to Breitling, Cartier, Panerai, even some of the entry level Nomos and Oris and all those watches. I took a look at everything, and what I came up with was really a list of my favorites. I picked three of the favorite watches that really spoke to me if I would buy, and three, I wouldn't call them losers, but disappointments that I just think that there was a little bit more, and it's probably just a hype that was built up on them. But excuse me, watches that I probably would have purchased given the right design and in some cases even the right price point. So, real quick, let's try to get into this. I don't want to spend too much time on this and have you guys sit here for 30, 40, 50 minutes here. I want to try to get this done in about 10 minutes here. So, let's dive into it and let's take a look at some of the disappointments first. So, first up, we're going to visit my favorite brand, and that is Rolex. So, this is the 50th anniversary for the Explorer 2. And as you see here, not much changed. The case supposedly has some adjustments made to it. In looking at the watch in some of these pictures, I can't tell the difference, but it does have the new movement. It comes in at 8,550, and then the Explorer also comes in now, instead of a 39 millimeter, it's now only available in the 36 millimeter. And it also comes in a two-tone, which completely boggles my mind because if you actually go to the Rolex website and actually read the history and understand the history of the Explorer and what Rolex did in the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, giving explorers these watches to try in high altitudes, I don't think any of them were worried about having a two-tone gold and steel watch. To me, that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But the 36 comes in at 6,450 and the two-tone at 10,800. Now, Rolex did have a few things that piqued my interest. In the GMT, the Jubilee bracelet is now paired with the Oyster bracelet. So you can get both now. And then also on the Datejust and the Daytona, they also came out with some new dials. Let's move on. Up next is AP. Now, as you see here, the AP Royal Oak Black Panther is an absolutely gorgeous watch. However, only 250 were made, and at a price point of $162,000, I really think they missed the mark on who this watch really could have been meant for. The the execution is absolutely amazing, but at six figures, I just really feel that they could have built on this, because who knows, they could have come out with an Iron Man watch or maybe even a Captain America. So we'll have to see how this goes. I'm pretty sure they'll probably all be pre-order. There's plenty of collectors out there that have way more money than I do. Um, but as good as the watch looks and how well the execution on the watch is, yeah, you really have to go to the website and check it out. It's phenomenal. I put this in the disappointments for me. Lastly, I'm going to go to another one of my favorite brands, and that is Omega and the 300 Diver series. So there's two watches here that I'm really scratching my head on. And the first one, as you see here, is the black on black. I've seen the Speedmaster variation of this, and you cannot read this in normal light. Yes, it does have luminous dials. At nighttime, you'll be able to read it, but I mean, outside the aesthetic and the, I guess you could call a little coolness of it and the way it looks, this is a watch that is almost unreadable. The other one comes in a white dial, blue bezel, and it's the limited edition Tokyo 2020 Olympic watch. For me, I think the entire concept of the white face and the blue bezel here looks absolutely amazing. When the white dial and black bezel came out, it was all the rage, and for the longest time, and even today, it's still hard to get your hands on one. But this white face and blue bezel, I'm a huge blue bezel fan, as you've seen with some of my watches. But on the back, on the display back, it has the logo and it covers up the movement. The whole point of having this is so you can see the movement. And I just don't understand, and I'm really just hoping that they come out with another version of this where it doesn't have this logo on the back, because I would buy this watch tomorrow if it was available without this logo. So, those are my quote unquote disappointments. Let's now move on to some of the winners, or more my favorites. And first up is another watch that I have, and it is coming from Tudor. As you'll see here, the Tudor Black Bay Chrono with the white dial is absolutely stunning. I had my dealer call me as soon as this came in and was not able to get over fast enough. This thing sold very quickly, and this might be the next watch that I purchase. I almost purchased the black dial last year or 2 years ago, and the fact that this now has also a thinner case and it's coming in about the same price point, right around $5,000, this is just phenomenal. On the other side of Tudor, you also have the new Black Bay 58, which is also now available in silver and gold. The silver comes in at $4,300, and the gold comes in at $16,800. There were some other releases within Tudor. There were some upgrades with the 1926 line, also a few non-divers, but overall, that Black Bay Chrono is absolutely gorgeous. Next up is Breitling. I had a Breitling many, many years ago. I miss it dearly. And this one here, I think you might agree, is absolutely gorgeous. And it's the Breitling Heritage Chrono B9 in the salmon dial. There's just so much going on here in this watch that really, it does more than just stand out to me, because as you're looking at this, there is, and I wouldn't call it just a lot going on in the dial, but it just works right. Okay, moving on, we have IWC, and we have a new big pilot, but it's not what you think. It's not the 46 millimeter, it's a 43 millimeter, and I don't know if this is going to be something that catches on, but it's, to me, the baby pilot. It doesn't have the 7-day movement. It gives it a little bit of a cleaner look, and especially with the optional blue sunburst dial, it just looks cleaner. It's more refined. The whole package really works, and it's going to be something that's going to fit a lot more wrists opposed to that bigger, chunkier 46 millimeter. Now, I can't not mention this next watch. Those were my favorites. I had my disappointments, but in everything that has come out this year, if you have the time, and I'll leave this in the description box below, you must go look at this watch. The JLC Reverso Hybris Mechanica Calibre 185. For their 90-year anniversary of the Reverso, this watch, even just talking about it right now, is mind-boggling. All 4 sides of the watch have some sort of complication. There's 11 total. If you've never seen the Reverso, it's actually quite an interesting watch, but just the fact that they've been able to manufacture this and be able to put some complication on all 4 sides is completely mind-blowing. Obviously, this is way out of my price point, but you cannot not look at this watch and be impressed. I'll leave the link in the description. Go check it out. It's something you have to do. The mechanics and everything that went into building this watch, it's just mind-boggling. But I want to wrap this up for you guys real quick here. So again, those were my favorites, my disappointments. In the coming weeks, I look to break down some more of these, and also even pull in, again, part of my watch collection and show you a little bit more and go a little bit more into the history of what they are, how I acquired them. So again, as always, if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and coming on Saturday is going to be the full review for Peterson's Irish Oak, or otherwise known as Irish Cask. I hope you're well. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you next time.